Jim Ryan just solved PlayStation's biggest problem. Xbox is teaming up with Nintendo to fight Sony. And what's going on at the Game Awards? And also down in the description, I have a ton of links to controllers, SSDs, TVs, monitors, headsets, any accessory you need for your PS5. I have a link for it down in the description. So if you want to help me out, use those links. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to PS Ready. This is the weekend update. You're going to get 2 stories now and then a story in the future after me and Ray go to the Game Awards.
Yeah, it's all going down at the Microsoft Theater.
I'm excited. I think Diablo 4 is going to be there. I know Diablo 4 is now an Xbox game, maybe because Xbox is buying Activision, but you can't take the Diablo fan out of me. I'm so excited. So we got an update on this whole Activision situation. Basically, the last we heard was that the FTC was like, we're going to file a lawsuit. So then Microsoft said, look, we're giving Sony a 10-year deal. We're giving Nintendo a 10-year deal, which is kind of crazy because Call of Duty hasn't been on Nintendo since the Wii U with Black Ops 2, which honestly I heard was a pretty good experience, but it had its own servers, so then the game died after like 2 months. And they also said that they're going to stick with Steam, which that's kind of like just a little add-on bonus to me. It's like, oh, you're going to keep releasing games on the platform you've released them on forever? Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what the market is like for freaking Call of Duty on Switch. I don't know, because like with
Warzone, dude.
With Fortnite, that makes sense because it's like kids love Fortnite and a lot of kids own Switches, I guess. But like it's all posturing, right? It's all posturing.
They should put COD Mobile on Switch. Like, because the Switch is just like a phone processor.
Yeah.
It's like an NVIDIA phone processor. And they're doing Warzone Mobile. Listen. Microsoft can buy Call of Duty. They can get Diablo. They can get Overwatch 2. But what they don't have is ray-traced reflections in the Callisto Protocol. I rest my case.
Okay.
I rest my case.
Wow, yeah, the game-breaking experience. How will we ever recover from this? I haven't started Callisto Protocol. I downloaded it, and I'm super pumped because...
You downloaded it?
Yeah,
Did you get it on PS5?
I did not get it on PS5.
Oh, they said that the ray trace reflections thing was like an accident, which is exactly what happened on PC. The issue you guys have heard me complain about all year, where Unreal Engine 4 games stutter, has finally become a big enough issue where people complained about it, and they fixed it. They fixed it in a day. So that was nice to see. Yeah, I don't know. 10 years. Are we going to be playing Call of Duty in 10 years? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week, but that seems like a long time to commit to releasing Call of Duty on PlayStation.
It's not just 10 years and then no more Call of Duty on PlayStation. It's like we don't even know what the gaming landscape is going to be like in 10 years. And especially when you think about what the gaming industry was 10 years in the past compared to now. So it's like 10 years and then they renegotiate.
By then.
Fortnite 2. We might finally have a freaking another Elder Scrolls game.
Maybe.
We may not even have consoles anymore. So it's like
Wolverine
10 years and then they renegotiate, you know.
But yeah, I think this deal's going to go through. I think Sony's just making it hard for Microsoft so it costs more for them, because Microsoft really needs this to go through, which is a new revelation, because if it doesn't go through, they have to pay Activision like a pretty hefty amount of money. It's like billions.
They still have to pay, and you know, if it doesn't get approved right away by the correct committees, Xbox has said we'll lawyer up, we'll go to court, and then Activision has also come out and said like we'll also do that too.
In positive PlayStation news, Crying Jim Ryan, as the Sacred Symbols podcast calls him, had a nice little statement where he said, "The global supply chain issue with PlayStation 5s is over. I have solved it all by myself, and the shortage is ending."
You've seen it yourself. Listen, we hear a story like this every like other week.
Yeah.
And, like the shortage is coming to an end. The shortage is finally over.
I went to Target the other day. I got an InZone H7 headset because I wanted to use 3D audio in the Callisto Protocol, which is totally worth it. I went to Target here in California and I saw 2 PlayStation 5s. Two. Just sitting there. I was like, should I buy one?
That's when I'll know that the shortage is over. When I physically see PS5s in a Target, in a Walmart, at a Best Buy, whatever.
That's good. That's a really good sign for us actually getting PS5 games instead of ports of PS4 games, which makes me really happy. I can say, though, after playing the Callisto Protocol, that game was definitely a PS5 game first, and then they backported it to PS4 because it looks really good. Like the atmosphere in that game. The coolest thing about it is like the main character, I think his name's Jacob. You have prison garb on, like prison orange jumpsuit, and it says like BIP on the back of it for Black Iron Prison, and it's so detailed that you can see that like the text is raised off of his back and the shadows react accordingly based on the light.
I mean, we've already seen Sony eclipse that 20 million mark with the PS5s. I feel like that's a pretty sufficient number if they wanted to just, especially with their first party stuff, to be like, you know what? No more PS4 stuff. We have a large enough install base on our PS5s in order to make some decent money. Not nearly as large as the PS4. What is it? Like at 120 million or something like that?
Anything multiplayer / live service, I think will still come to PS4 as long as it can, because like that's just good business. So you see smart business moves like that, and I don't really have an issue with that. I just want to see like if we get The Last of Us Part 3, that better be PS5 exclusive. I better not be seeing none of this PS4 business with that game.
I better not, or else.
And there's rumors that we're getting a new Uncharted, not from Naughty Dog. It's going to be a reboot, but like if you've played Uncharted 4, it's very obvious who the main character is going to be. That better be a PS5 game exclusively at this point.
Yeah, it wasn't God of War Ragnarok supposed to be the last cross-generational title that
was never really
Sony
confirmed,
first party?
but it seemed that way. And I'm fine with that game being on PS4 because it started development as a PS4 game. I think it was supposed to be out a lot sooner, but obviously like stuff happened in the world, and also Christopher Judge broke his back, and they were kind enough to wait for him. So like that got delayed and ended up becoming like a swan song type game. Same goes for Horizon. That was going to be a PS4 game as well. So we're kind of running out of those games.
By that logic, though, you can kind of see, you know, when the new Spider-Man comes out, this team up with Peter Parker and Miles Morales, like that was built with the PS4 in mind. Like all those assets are still the same. So why wouldn't that be cross-generational as well?
I don't know. I don't think it will be though.
Correct.
I think you'll be able to swing faster if it's PS5 exclusive, because that's like what limits the speed is how fast the map can load. And yeah, so like you could swing a little bit faster, because you know it does slow down a little bit if the scene is loading in front of you. I think they did a good job on the PS4 with Spider-Man, but like going back, I'm like, okay, swinging a little bit slow here, but I think they'll be faster on the PS5.
Yeah.
And games will be smaller, which is cool.
That will be cool. Yeah, that will be cool. Using that SSD technology. But yeah, it's good to hear that, because...
Did you say SSD? You can get a Samsung 980 Pro SSD for $209 right now. Look, I'm going to say it until the deal is over. You're going to need an SSD if you're getting a PS5, because you have 680 gigabytes of usable storage. Call of Duty, if you get the campaign, you get the multiplayer, you get the Warzone, that's like 150 gigs right there. If you're one of the 10 people who's still playing Destiny because the last season sucked so bad, that's like 100 gigabytes right there. You know, it adds up quick. You should get an SSD, and I would recommend the Samsung 980 Pro, because there's no other good SSD with a heatsink that you're going to get for $200 for 2 terabytes. It's linked in the description. Don't make a mistake.
I didn't actually say SSD.
You did literally say SSD.
I said SSD's nuts.
I'm pretty pissed right now also because I started the new Destiny season on my PlayStation 5 and my PS Plus was lapsed, and so I paid for a month. And I could have just waited till this weekend because it's a free gaming weekend. You can play any game for free without PS Plus.
Free to play, like the good old days in the PS3 where you didn't need a PlayStation
so good,
account,
dude.
or like to pay for online privileges. Damn,
Dude,
Xbox
they knew they
Live,
couldn't.
Xbox Live Gold. It's like the horse armor, like you said.
Xbox Live was like something worth charging for, and Sony's like, we cannot charge for this. It goes down like every other day. They had that shit down for an entire summer. Like there was an entire summer where the PSN was just down, and SOCOM 4 was just dead because it came out and then had a week of life. And then the PSN went down for an entire summer, and it was a multiplayer only game.
But it was free though. But it was free. And then eventually Nintendo was like, give us $5 a month.
Yeah,
for
Nintendo,
our online.
Nintendo,
I was like, for what reason?
No business charging for that.
For what
crap.
reason?
Yeah, it's stupid.
Free to play, and includes the big games like New Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
you
can play Warzone for free.
Warzone for free. Yeah,
You get the new Fortnite Battle Pass. Fortnite doesn't need PS Plus, so you can play Grand Theft Auto Online, Modern Warfare 2, and Destiny 2. How's it going? Jimmy from the future here, and I am home. It's the day after the Game Awards, and it was pretty crazy. Not only did a MILF Hunter win a Steam Deck from the official giveaway that happened every minute, but a kid crashed the stage and thanked Bill Clinton and gave him Game of the Year. And beyond that, there were some cool game announcements. Like for me personally, there were a ton of games I'm excited for. Obviously, Armored Core 6 from Software making their return to the franchise that really kind of put them on the map before Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and all the other games in the Souls series they've made so far. The trailer for that looked really cool. I'm curious how Souls games are going to influence the gameplay in Armored Core. Regardless, I'm really excited for that. It was nice to see Death Stranding 2 get announced. This is yet again a PlayStation exclusive, it seems, which is fine with me. They made a really good game the first time around. This trailer was very decipherable. It was a very straightforward trailer, kind of a change for Hideo Kojima, but I liked it. Fragile has apparently been healed. Sam is older. Troy Baker's character has gotten a visual upgrade, so across the board, I am excited for whatever Death Stranding 2 is going to be. The bread and butter for me of this entire thing, though, of course, was Jedi Survivor. Now, this game I am very excited for. I think we finally got an answer to who is in the Bacta tank, or the tank wherever that character was sitting. It looks like they're a Jedi from the High Republic era. I'm immediately getting vibes that he's going to be nice at first, but definitely end up either being a Sith or a bad guy of some sort. Regardless, it looks like Cal is going to be able to use two lightsabers at once, which is really cool. There was like a chocobo type creature he was riding around a map. Overall, it just looks like it's much more polished than the last game, which is great because even on PS5, that game still has loading stutters. I actually got to meet Cameron Monaghan after the Game Awards, and he was super cool, super nice to talk to, so I can't wait for the game. The collector's edition comes with the new version of Cal's lightsaber, which has a fixed end. I actually have the busted end one. I got this at Galaxy's Edge the first day it was available. I don't know if I'm gonna pre-order the new version because even though it works with the Disneyland blades that you put in here, I don't know, I feel like this one's kind of cooler with the broken end. I think this is actually pretty sweet. Diablo 4 is obviously one of my most anticipated games of next year. It's coming out on June 6th, which is pretty cool. That's right around the corner. Supergiant Games is doing their first sequel, Hades 2. Now it's kind of weird, they're doing early access development again. I know that worked out well for them the first time around, but it's a sequel and it looks like it's taking place on the same maps just in reverse. So I don't know if how necessary the early access label is for development, but I'm still excited for it nonetheless. Of course, also Dead Cells, my favorite roguelite of all of these roguelites that have come out over the past few years, is getting Castlevania DLC, which is crazy because if you've ever played Dead Cells, it's like a new version of Castlevania essentially. So to see it mashing itself up with Castlevania, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. And then of course Final Fantasy 16 looked great. The new game Judas from Ken Levine over at Ghost Story Games. I thought it was going to be a much smaller game, but this literally looks like BioShock in space. There was the character using what essentially looks like plasmids, so I'm glad he's kind of going back to his roots with this game, it seems. I'm excited for it nonetheless. And then we got the confirmation that Kevin Conroy's last vocal performance as Batman is going to be in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'm still excited for that game. I think it looks pretty cool. And then the last two big updates we got from the Game Awards are PC releases from Sony. So Returnal finally got confirmed by Sony as coming to PC. This is a full-on PS5 game. It's coming in early 2023. I was kind of hoping this would be a day and date release sort of thing where they announced it at the Game Awards and released it that night, just because it's been on Steam for almost a year at this point. It's been deck verified for almost a year, but regardless, I'm still excited to play that game again on PC. It's kind of like the perfect handheld type of game, just like Resogun was. I put so much time into that, streaming it from my PS4 to my Vita back in the day. And then The Last of Us Part 1, we got the release date on PC for that. It's coming out March 3rd, 2023, which is my birthday. There's a little bit of controversy there because it's $60 versus $70. A lot of the other games that have been coming out are full price on PC, but it looks like Sony, with this remake of The Last of Us, is giving gamers a $10 discount on PC. I don't really see the controversy here. There's no way to buy this game physically, so charging $10 less for a digital only game that's 6 months old at the time it's going to come out. I think there are way worse things to complain about in the gaming industry right now than a $10 discount for PC players, and I'm quadruple dipping on this game at that point, so I am happy to get the extra discount of $10. I'll put it towards Destiny, which is another Sony IP at this point. It was my first Game Awards actually, and overall it was a ton of fun. I was glad that even though it didn't win Game of the Year, God of War Ragnarok totally cleaned up. I think it won 6 awards overall, and Elden Ring won Game of the Year, so I know a lot of people were happy about that. I was just there to have a good time, and it was really cool seeing Blood Upon the Snow performed live by Hozier and of course Bear McCreary. He was like the one guy I wanted to try and meet. I didn't get to meet him, but I love Bear McCreary, and they announced at the end of the show that there's going to be a video games live thing at the Hollywood Bowl next year, so I'm hoping that we get some God of War music at that. Regardless, I'm going to do my best to be there. Overall, this was one of the better Game Awards. I think Jeff Keighley did a great job with the pacing this time around, splitting up the actual game announcements and the awards. Of course, you can't make everyone happy. Some people want more awards, some people want more announcements, but as far as the announcements go, there were not really too many that were out of left field or seemed weirdly out of place or anything like that. Everything was cool and got me excited about the future of gaming, and man, 2023 is going to be crazy for games. So if you want to see more details about the Game Awards from Ray's perspective, go check out his video on PSReady. And then the final update we got from the Game Awards that honestly got me pretty excited is more evidence that Sony is moving on from the PlayStation 4. If you were watching, you definitely saw the announcement for the Horizon DLC that's coming out next year, and it looks awesome. It's set in Los Angeles. They had the Hollywood sign in the trailer. I thought it looked really cool, but after the show, it was confirmed that that DLC will not be coming to the PlayStation 4. Now, there are obviously a couple ways to look at it. Maybe they're looking at it and saying, well, this game didn't really sell all that well on PS4, so it doesn't make sense to support it, or they're saying we're doing new stuff with the gameplay, with the graphics, with how this game is going to look and run, so we're not going to include the PS4. So regardless, whatever the reason is, I'm happy about this. It really does lend credence to the fact that God of War Ragnarok was supposed to be allegedly the swan song for the PlayStation 4, and this is more evidence that that is the case. I hope over the next year or two we start seeing some actual next-gen games that are next-gen exclusive to the PlayStation 5, and they aren't just PS4 games upscaled to the PlayStation 5, which, you know, is cool because those games end up being higher resolution and run at 60 FPS, but we paid $500 for this console over 2 years ago at this point, so I think it's time to cut the cord and move on from the PlayStation 4.